Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting a like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story comes from Top Travel 7135 and it says, am I the arsehole for not going to the wedding of my dad and his affair partner? When I was 17, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. 2 years later, she passed away. During these 2 years, my dad was not around much. He was always working and going on business trips. My aunt and grandma took care of mum. About 5 months after my mother's passing, my dad introduced me to his new girlfriend. I was pissed. I yelled at him how quickly he moved on from mum when they decided to tell me they'd been in a relationship for 3 years. My dad had been cheating on my mum while she was dying. His business trips were to meet his affair partner. I was so angry I packed my stuff and left his house. I haven't spoken to him since that day. Currently, I'm 25. The only family I speak to is an aunt who helped me when I left my dad's house. A few days ago, my aunt called me, asked me how I was, and then asked me if I'd heard from my dad. I said, why would I hear from him again? My aunt said dad is getting married to his affair partner, and by going to his wedding, it would help us mend our relationship. I said, why would I do that? He's dead to me. There was a silence on the phone for a bit before my dad replied asking if that was what I felt about him. I immediately cut the call when I heard his voice. I realized he was with my aunt when she made the call to me. I texted my aunt telling her I asked her not to tell dad anything about me, and she agreed back then. She texted me back saying I was an arsehole for saying what I said, and my dad is crushed hearing that, and that I should have moved on by now. I did not want to argue with someone who helped me, so I blocked her. Over the next 2 days, I got sent a wedding invitation to my mailbox. The only person in the family who knew my address was my aunt, and she gave my number to various members of the family. I'm being bombarded with calls and texts from dad, uncles, cousins, aunts, saying I should give him a chance and come to the wedding. Some calling me names for saying what I said. I got a text from the affair partner saying my dad is thinking of postponing the wedding and I should just talk to him. For context, the affair partner was a friend of my mum and knew she had cancer. I said it's not my fault if he postpones the wedding. I don't want to have a relationship with dad or her. They're trying to force it. It got quiet after that, but being told by so many people from my dad's side I'm an arsehole did leave me conflicted, but I'm sticking to my guns. Am I the arsehole? Absolutely, of course, not the arsehole in this situation, and it's one of those ones where you block them all. Telling to get over your dad betraying your mother and you when your family needed him the most, and he was out cheating on her, to a woman who was supposed to be your mum's friend as well. And he abandoned you at the same time when you was grieving. You needed him as well, and he was out doing what he did. Absolutely disgusting, and something that I would never be able to forgive. But a commenter says, not the arsehole, your dad cheated on your mum while she was dying, and now the whole family is upset. You calmly expressed how you feel about it by A, cutting your dad out, and B, not attending the wedding. Your aunt also violated your trust by giving your contact information out without your consent. I'd say cut the whole family out at this point. Queen says, not the arsehole, block all of them, including your aunt. Change your number. If you can move without telling anyone, do it, because they're going to show up in person to confront you next. Get some security cameras in case someone tries to go nuts, like trying to force their way into your home. They're all horrible people. Your dad and his affair partner are the worst. Both were close to your mum and did this to her. Ask affair partner what she would do if she got cancer, and he did the same to her. Actually, don't bother. Don't engage with any of them. Don't feel guilty. You're doing the right thing. Stand up for yourself. Everyone here supports you. Opie says thank you. I'm in the process of changing my number and updating contacts. As for where I live, it's a pretty secure apartment. You can only come in after me or someone buzz you in. Then you have to write down your name with security, and the elevator works with a key fob only. I'm hoping that I don't have to move out, but keeping my options open if it escalates. Bourne says you're not the arsehole, but your father and his whole family is. Block their numbers, block their email addresses, social media, change your address if you can. 6 years isn't enough to get over the man who literally betrayed your mother when she needed him the most and was out fraternizing with another woman who was supposed to be your mother's friend. They were enjoying themselves while your mother was dying and didn't even have a lick of decency or care for you and your pain. But the fact that merely 5 months after your mother's death, your father thought it was prime time to reveal his cheating partner to you. They care for nothing but themselves. In fact, even if you don't forgive this man and woman for as long as you live, it's still understandable. And honestly, I'm smelling a catch from this. Why now? Why does it take him 6 years to suddenly, desperately, want to meld this relationship? Either way, it's not your problem, and I hope you ditch this whole nasty family. You deserve better. OP replied saying, actually, I thought about this too. And I think you might be right, because I got some text like, it's a son's duty to take care of his father, and your future kids would want their grandfather in their life. Another commenter says, not the arsehole. Even if you do not consider him cheating on your dying mother, he abandoned you, a grieving child, to get his dick wet. Hell no. They don't get to decide how you process and deal with that loss. Why in the world would they expect you to celebrate that screwed up relationship? And one more comment which says, oh my god, when I read the affair partner was a friend of your mother, not the arsehole. Let them rot in hell, both selfish bastards. Not only for what they did to your mother, abandoning her and stabbing her in the back as she's dying, but what about you? You are 15 to 17 years old. Your mother is dying and your father is off gallivanting with another woman. Did he not think about supporting you continually? Building a bind between you for once your mother is gone and you're motherless? No. He abandoned you for his carnal needs. So it was 1 month later that OP came in with an update and said, hello, first I want to thank all who commented on the first post and all who messaged me. It really helped me stick with my decision to not go to the wedding. I wanted to update earlier, but it's been pretty hectic with work. So after the many texts and calls from multiple family members, I sent a text to all the numbers detailing what Dad did and why I chose to be no contact with him. I then blocked all the numbers. I've changed my numbers but kept the old number in a separate phone to collect evidence if they start to harass me from random numbers. But luckily nothing happened and I thought that was that. A week or so after that, my aunt's fiance came to my apartment. He knows what time I get off work and was waiting for me in the parking lot. I was apprehensive, but he assured me he only wanted to talk. According to him, the text I sent has caused a shitstorm in that family. He told me that some of the cousins who did not know what happened in the past started to question Dad and affair partner, and they started to get defensive and deny it, but someone revealed that it was true. This has caused a massive argument within the family, with some cousins pulling out of the wedding. Dad wanted to postpone the wedding so he can talk to me, but the affair partner threatened to leave him if he did that. The news of what Dad and the affair partner did also reached some of their friends who were at one point friends of my mum as well. Some of them also pulled out of the wedding, and this caused the affair partner to have a breakdown and started banning anyone who brings it up, family members included from the wedding. According to Aunt's fiance, she is blaming this all on me, says I did this intentionally. I laughed at that. The wedding is still somehow happening. I asked him about my aunt and how all this started. And he said all he knows is there was a conversation of how bad the family would look if I wasn't at the wedding, and that my aunt offered to call me. He said that he disagreed, but she did it anyway. He said that he is only here because he felt I needed to know what happened. I thanked him, but said I'll be going completely no contact with her, and by extension, him as well. He agreed, wished me well, and left. I'm not going to lie and say I'm completely okay. I miss my aunt, I miss my mum. But I know what I did was the right thing. I'm currently staying with my girlfriend as she's been cheering me up by coming up with absurd ways to ruin the wedding. As a lot of you said, I should try therapy, and I'm going to take that advice. Some of the comments has made me realize that I've bottled up a lot of grief and anger. I'm super nervous about it, but I also feel it'll do me good. So once again, thank you for all your comments and advice. Ciao. Just on the back of therapy, anyone that's thinking about trying therapy. Obviously, it's not 100% for everyone, of course, but if you're thinking about trying it, absolutely give it a go. I always thought that, I can get by without it. And in some ways, I probably could, but it has been an enlightening experience at the same time. Emotional in points, but I can be honest, I'm having a good time. Watching the reaction of my therapist sometimes is just like, it's amazing stuff. But OP added a couple of comments about the girlfriend's ideas and said the very first idea she came up with was, let's go to the landfill and catch some rats, then release them at the wedding. It got progressively worse from that. Obviously, this is just for fun, and I have no intention of going anywhere near that wedding. But reading some of the ideas here is giving me a good laugh. So it was a year after this that OP came back in with an update and says, I don't know if I'm doing this right, but I logged in today and saw a lot of messages asking me what happened and how I'm doing. I wasn't sure if I should write this or if anyone would see it because I don't know if I'm doing it right, but here it goes. For everyone asking what happened at the wedding, I don't know much. All I know is they got married. No one from that family contacted since then, and I didn't go asking around either. I'm at peace with it. As for me, things are different now. First, I want to thank everyone who reached out and asked how I've been holding up. Your kindness means more than I can put into words. I'm getting better, slowly, though the journey hasn't been easy. A lot has changed since my last update. I'm single now and have moved to a new city. My ex, who I'll call Mia, and I separated about 4 months after my last post. We celebrated 2 years together in March and talked about our future, but I was a mess. Therapy started well, but I quickly realized just how many unresolved issues I had bottled up from losing my mum. I was struggling emotionally, crying at random, worrying for some fucked up thoughts that I might somehow turn into my dad, and spiraling with fears I couldn't control. Mia had dreams of marriage and kids, and I knew I wasn't in the right place to give her the future she deserved. It would have been very selfish of me to ask her to stay until I got better. We had a long, honest talk, lots of tears, and ultimately decided to part ways. It wasn't easy, but it was the best decision for both of us. Mia and I still cared for each other deeply, and she, along with my friends, checked on me every day after the breakup. I wasn't left to face things alone, and for that, I'm so grateful. In July, I was offered a chance to move to the head office of my company in another city. After discussing it with my therapist, I decided it'd be a good opportunity to change my surroundings and start fresh. In September, I made the move. My best friend used 25 days of his 30-day holiday to help me pack, move, and settle in. I can't overstate how much that meant to me. I have incredible friends. Since then, I've been taking things one day at a time. The new office has been amazing. Everyone was so welcoming, which was a big relief since I've been anxious about starting over somewhere new. I now attend online therapy sessions twice a week and grief counseling in person here. It's been helping a lot. I'm in a much better headspace than I was before, though I still don't feel ready to date again. For now, I'm focusing on my career and continuing to heal. Once again, thank you to everyone who has supported me, whether through messages or just by caring enough to check in. It means the world. Ciao. So it was a year after that OP comes in with their final update. It says, okay, it seems my post had done the rounds on YouTube and TikTok, and now I've been getting a lot of messages recently asking for updates on what happened after and how I am. So I'm going to just give updates on the most asked questions here and be done with this. Ex, dad, and family. No idea, haven't heard from anyone from that family. My friend group, awesome as ever. Where I live, my job, and my best friend's job. I think this being asked due to me mentioning that my best friend got a 30-day vacation. I live in Europe. That's all I will say about that. Also, someone figured out who I am and sent me some flowers to my office with the Reddit post attached on a card with a very kind and encouraging message. Also, I asked around my friends and they swore they did not do it. So that was sweet and also unnerving, fucking terrifying. But OP continues, Mia, we're talking again. Slow. I met her for the first time since I moved in the middle of this year at a friend's wedding. We both still have feelings, but just talking for now. Me, doing much better. Therapy has been amazing. It started off very bumpy and I did not want to do it after a few sessions in the start, but my therapist has been great. Really helped me process what I needed to do. I also had gone to grief counseling, and again, one of the best things I've ever done. It was in a group setting and I've become good friends with those there over the past year. I was really scared to do this because I was afraid they would not take me seriously, because it has been some time since my mum died and they would just say get over it, but they were also welcoming from the start, and that made me open up better. So my life is not all happy stuff, but still working on me, still getting better, but I'm in a much better place mentally. So that's it. I'm not going to update anymore. I want to thank all those who sent me kind messages. It helped me a lot. I'm just going to try and live my best life. And given the situation, that was probably the best outcome that could have happened, right? OP sounds like they're doing well, they're processing stuff through therapy, maybe building a relationship ever so slowly with Mia once again, and they're just thriving, and I think that's absolutely amazing. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another one. Now, our next story has a trigger warning of sexual assault on the story, so if you do want to skip it, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. This is from the Relationships Advice subreddit from Throwaway J991, and it says, my boyfriend's gorgeous female friend has taken it upon herself to take care of him tonight. He's male 25 sick, and I, female 25, being a jealous bitch. I'm here because I need some unbiased opinions. My boyfriend of 10 months has a female friend that I do not like very much. I personally feel that she has romantic feelings for him, though I'm not sure about his feelings towards her. They became fast friends shortly after him and I started dating, so this is a fairly new friendship for the two of them. They're both fitness fanatics, so they tend to work out together quite often and do fun, outdoorsy things together. Plus, they keep in constant contact through texting, Facebook and Twitter. He introduced me to her a few months ago in a group setting, but we didn't hit it off. She was fake nice to me and had very little to do with me. I didn't say anything to my boyfriend because I know it's awkward when you first meet people and figured she was just shy. I wanted to give her a chance. So tonight my boyfriend got a migraine and a stomachache. He might be coming down with the flu. Guess who decided she wanted to take care of him tonight? His female friend. I asked my boyfriend what she was doing, and he just said she was hanging out with him and making him soup. Apparently she brought him a little care package as well. The fuck? Okay, I'm not trying to be a bitch, but that's my job. I'm the girlfriend. I get off work in an hour and I'm seriously thinking of going over to his place. I think I've probably put off this conversation for far too long, and now she's crossing boundaries. My boyfriend thinks she's an awesome and fun friend, but come on. Even if it's a platonic friendship, there comes a point where she needs to back off a little. Should I go to his house after work? What are your thoughts? Commenter says, call him and tell him you're coming over after work and bringing supplies, and you're ready to snuggle and watch Netflix and nurse your sick boo back to health. If he declines, you have a problem. If he seems excited, then there's nothing to worry about. If he's excited about your caring girlfriend move, I think going over there with passive-aggressive jealousy rage is not a good idea either. Have the discussion when he's not sick, and to be fair, it sounds like she just came over to give him soup and if he's okay. I would do that for my friends too. Unless there's more to the story you're not telling us. Maybe try to strike up a friendship with her as well. But keep your jealousy in check. She seemed fake nice? Could she have felt awkward / your jealousy as well? Right now, you've not much of a leg to stand on with confronting him, especially if he's open with you about their friendship, hanging out, and conversations. OP replies saying, I asked him a little bit ago if he wanted me to come over and he said, you don't have to. I know you've probably had a long day at work. I kind of feel like that was his way of nicely telling me no. OP says, tell him that you want to. Not really a way he can put you down lightly there if he doesn't want you to come over. Question though, and maybe I'm reading into this too much, but he's having her come over but is telling you that you don't have to. That doesn't sound good. OP says, I guess she invited him to hang out tonight, but he told her he was sick and that's when she surprised him. He told me he thought it was really nice of her. I'm never jealous, but this makes me crazy. Old Silly B says, you should definitely have a conversation with him about this soon. Maybe not while he's sick. That wouldn't be too productive. I wouldn't encourage banging down the door and getting confrontational with him and his friend, but maybe say like you want to drop by and see how he's doing. OP says, I get off work in a little bit, so I texted him that I was going to spend the night so I could take care of him. Hopefully she's gone when I get there. Bolt says, I think your boyfriend digs the attention from this chick. That's the fundamental problem here. You've got to know that this sort of attention is inappropriate when he's in a serious relationship. I wouldn't allow a female friend to come over to take care of me if I was sick and in a serious relationship. The biggest reason is out of respect for my SO. Not giving my friend the wrong idea would be second. To me, your man is kind of a dud. Opie says, I have no doubt he likes the attention, especially if the girl fussing over you is really pretty. But I'm not entirely sure if he has feelings for her. Maybe she's just a pretty thing to look at. I'm not sure. Minus this chick, everything else in our relationship is great. So Opie does come in with an update and says, I apologize for leaving you guys hanging. Things got a little crazy last night and I kind of forgot about my original post. When I got off work, I went home and got some of my stuff together since I was going to stay the night at his place. By the time I got to his house, it was around 11:30 and she was still there. When I got inside, I found both of them on the couch together, watching movies, but she was asleep. He was laying on the couch, covered in blankets with his legs in her lap, which seemed a little inappropriate. Is that considered cuddling? My boyfriend seemed happy to see me. We talked a little bit and he gave me a long hug. His female friend woke up shortly after I arrived, but she didn't really say much. She mentioned to me that she made my boyfriend soup and that he really liked it. He was persistent that I try it because he said it was much better than his mum's. I declined. Anyway, the house was spotless. It looked like she tidied up everything when she got done cooking because she did the dishes and some other stuff. That was nice of her, but I feel like that's overstepping boundaries. I saw a get well soon card on the kitchen table, which I'm assuming was from her since it was with some of the stuff she brought him, though I didn't read it. About an hour after I arrived, she was still hanging around because they wanted to finish their movie. So by the time the movie was over, it was almost 1:30. My boyfriend finally decided he was ready for bed, which he seemed bummed about. He thanked her for everything and walked her to the door. She gave him way too long a hug and then finally left. A few minutes later, he sends a thank you text. I was a mess. I wasn't going to say anything until morning, but I couldn't wait any longer. Once we got into bed, I told him how I felt. Things didn't go well and I probably came across like a psycho girlfriend. I couldn't drop the issue. He said it was platonic and he felt like I was trying to pick a fight with him. So he got up and decided to sleep on the couch, leaving me in bed alone. A half hour goes by and he comes back to bed in tears apologizing for leaving me in bed alone. He was really upset and kept saying he loved me and that he was sorry for making me mad. I forgave him. He was shivering, so I took his temperature and sure enough, he has a running fever. I covered him in blankets, but that only seemed to help a little bit. He couldn't stop shivering, so he clung to me for the rest of the night with his head buried into my chest. It was so cute. I felt so bad for him though. Poor guy. I don't plan on bringing her up again until he feels better. He was throwing up this morning and kept apologizing to me about last night. I told him we'd need to talk about it later, and that I wasn't going to leave him as long as he'd compromise with me, which he agreed. He seems genuinely sorry and keeps promising me he'll fix things. So I think everything will work out. He's never broken a promise to me. Thank you everyone for the input. I can't believe how many commented on the original post. Commenter says, the dude loves and is eating up the attention she gives him. Come up with a list of what you are and are not comfortable with them doing. If he agrees to it, great. If he doesn't think it's reasonable, then you both need to decide how important the gorgeous female friend is, to whether or not you continue dating each other. If a guy was doing to you what she is doing to him, you wouldn't like it. I certainly wouldn't tolerate this behavior from my SO and his female friend. Some people would. Talk to him again and be clear about what you will not put up with. Opie says, I agree. When we were talking last night, I said something along the lines of ending their friendship, which he immediately agreed to, although I feel like that might be a little harsh on my part. Scathe88 says, good that he's willing to compromise. I wouldn't stand this for a second. They aren't longtime friends and she has that much time to dedicate to him. When I know someone for a few months and they are sick, I tell them I hope they feel better and to let me know if they need anything. And yeah, legs in the lap? That is crossing boundaries. Best of luck. He sounds like he really cares about you and is probably pretty blind to her intentions. Fuck says, yeah, seriously. Why would she ever feel the need to make someone soup, hang with him all day, and clean the house of someone who has a girlfriend who lives there? What the fuck? Opie says, I don't live there, but you're right regardless. Change You says, if I walked in on my boyfriend with his legs in his female friend's lap, I'd be pissed as hell. Also, I'm pretty sure if you hadn't shown up, she would have spent the night. Opie says, I wonder the same thing. He has a couple of guest bedrooms. I was actually surprised he didn't offer to let her stay last night. And Opie replied to someone saying thank you. I'm not sure if it matters or if I should have mentioned this earlier, but I am his first serious girlfriend. So I could probably chalk it up to a lack of experience, but I don't know. So, Opie comes in with their final update, which came a month later, and said, "I'm furious and need advice. About a month ago, I got a lot of great advice on my original post, which is why I'm here giving another update. A couple of days ago, my boyfriend and I were invited to a mutual friend's Christmas party. All of our friends were there, including my boyfriend's female friend. They haven't spoken to each other for nearly a month, so I guess I didn't know what to expect. But as soon as she walked in the door, she spotted my boyfriend and ran up to him for a hug. I wanted to barf. I tried being nice, I really did. More than once I went out of my way to talk to her, but she clearly wasn't interested. She stuck close to my boyfriend the entire night. Even when he was hanging out with the guys, she tagged along. At one point the guys went downstairs to play some foosball, air hockey and beer pong. She had to be on my boyfriend's team for every single game. It was ridiculous. However, my boyfriend kept pulling me close and giving me kisses in front of her, so I'm sure that pissed her off. After a while I went back upstairs to hang out with the girls. It started getting late and my boyfriend was pretty smashed. He had to work really early that morning, so he was tired and ready to go home. So his completely sober female friend announces that she'll take him home since he only lives 4 blocks away. I'll drop him off and come back. It will only take a couple of minutes. I trust my boyfriend and I wanted to stay and talk with the girls a little bit longer, so I didn't say anything. Well, 20 minutes passed and she still wasn't back. I called my boyfriend's home phone and got no answer, so I pretended to be tired, told everyone goodbye and left. When I got to his house, I saw a car sitting in the driveway. When I got inside, she was putting her shoes on, getting ready to leave. I went to my boyfriend's room and found him passed out on the bed, so I stayed the night with him. That next morning, I found out that she tried making a move on my boyfriend. Apparently, she tried kissing him in the car when she was dropping him off, but he pushed her away. He said she kept apologizing and followed him into the house. He was going to lay down on the couch, but she insisted he sleep in his bed. She needed to use the bathroom, so he showed her where it was. A couple of minutes later, she went upstairs to his room and tried making a second move on him. This time, she tried kissing his neck and slipping her hand down his pants. That's when he shoved her and told her to get the fuck out. Ever since then, she's been sending him apology texts. He told her he forgave her, but that they couldn't be friends anymore. He also gave me a genuine, heartfelt apology, which I accepted. He's been really torn up about this ever since it happened, but we're working through it. Here's the problem. We got invited to a big New Year's Eve party at the same friend's house, and she'll be there as well. I seriously feel like I'm going to freak out on her. Do I let everyone know what she did, or do I let it go and let my boyfriend handle it? Edit. Thanks everyone. I spoke with him tonight about New Year's and he said he does not want to go to the party. He just wants to stay home with me or hang out with our family for New Year's. He's embarrassed and made me promise not to tell our friends about the incident, so I think for right now, we're just going to keep it to ourselves. A commenter asked for clarification. They said, I just feel like a clarification is needed here. Is he apologizing for not believing you when you said she wanted in his pants? Or is he apologizing for her driving him home and sexually assaulting him? The first one is okay, the second one is not. He doesn't need to apologize for this happening. He doesn't need to be torn up about it or feel bad. He didn't risk your relationship here. He got drunk and she took advantage of him twice. It's up to him if he presses charges or tells anyone. But whether he does or not, he doesn't need to feel bad about it happening. He's the victim. No different than if someone had tried to slip their hand down your pants after he left the party. Opie says he apologized to me because he said he felt stupid for letting her inside the house after she just tried to kiss him. I told him I wasn't upset with him and he had no reason to apologize, but that didn't seem to help. He said he should have seen it coming and being drunk was no excuse. He was almost in tears, so I told him I forgave him, even though he did nothing wrong. Blaming Douchebag says he's embarrassed. That chick tried to bust a move on him. What the hell is there to be embarrassed about in that situation? I hate to be the bad guy here because I really want to hate the friend too, but the only reason I can think of for him to keep this hush-hush is because he doesn't want anyone besides you looking too closely at his story here. I think there's a chance that there's another story, very different version of this story circulating out there. I advise caution. Opie says he has received a handful of texts from her since that night, apologizing for what happened. I've read all the texts and I have no doubt his story is accurate. Commenter says 4 blocks. That's a 5 to 10 minute walk. He doesn't need to be driven 4 blocks. Opie says it was snowing and it was like 10 degrees outside. That's a long walk for a drunk person who can't even walk a straight line. Commenter says, Why does he need to show her the bathroom if she's been to his house before taking care of him? Opie says he knocked the wall out in the bathroom on the main floor because he's making it bigger, so it can't be used. But he has a really nice bathroom in the finished basement, and he had to show her where it was because she's never been down there. Man, I feel for that guy, him being embarrassed and not wanting to tell people that he was sexually assaulted by someone that he trusted. And whilst I personally think people should know about her behavior and what she did, because at the moment it's isolating him from his friend group because of her actions, but at the same time, I get why he wants to keep it quiet, especially as the victim. It felt predatory to me, like looking back at the behavior and then that final thing that happened, which Opie pointed out, wanting to take him home, knowing he's drunk, she's the only sober person there, and then, eventually getting into the house and then making a move multiple times gives me the ick. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly, it's absolutely amazing. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.